Hello, everybody, and welcome to our English Foundational Language sessions. I'm Bav Taylor, the Director of Education and Programs at Indigo Development. Just before we start, I just want to give you a bit of a context and background to what we're doing and why we're doing it. You're going to see a series of relatively short sessions which we're putting out there for people who can watch and learn, develop their English at their own pace. I get people contacting me, dropping an email in my inbox, and often these people have English either as a second, a third, fourth language, and they want to refine their English for everyday use. For some of you, it's because you want to study abroad or move abroad. For some of you, it's just that you want to upskill yourself in the country where you live because you want to get a promotion, for example. And English is something that you want to work on. Our sessions are relatively short, they should be fun, they should be interactive. I'll ask you at various points to pause so you can think about a response and then I'll give you the response. And ultimately, this is really important that you should learn something, know something at the end that you did not at the beginning. So let's get started. Each of our sessions always starts with what we call an icebreaker. Now, an icebreaker is often used at the beginning of a training session, for example. It's supposed to be fun, it puts you at ease, and it should generate a conversation. There's no right or wrong answer. So if you're watching this with, a work colleague, a friend, family, you could pause the video now and just identify which sheep you are now. Which one best represents you at this point in time? Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. Go on, over to you. This session, we're going to focus on what is informal English. Now, informal English is the English that is used in casual conversations every single day. It's used in everyday interactions. Most of our communication is through what we say, our speaking, and therefore what we hear and what we listen to. Now, informal English forms a large part of this. Now, the opposite being formal English. English that is standard and more professional. We'll come to this in a session later on. Now, informal English is sometimes called colloquial, laid back, unconventional. So if you ever hear those words, you should think informal English. Now, this is vast. We could spend days and days talking about informal English. I'm going to do a few sessions, at least the first two, that are on informal English, and then we'll come back to it in subsequent sessions. Like I said, informal English informs much of our communication on a day-to-day basis with friends, with family, with work colleagues. Now, let's get straight into an activity just to get you thinking, and you can assess for yourself how much you know, and I will give you responses and how we can improve what you already know, but also how we can refine and develop your English. I'm going to give you a formal phrase that is used every single day. What I want you to do is pause the video and then think about how that phrase can be said informally. Possibly things that you've said or things that you've heard. So, how are you doing today is an everyday question. Many of us may ask it, may use it. If we just take a moment to pause, you can pause the video. Give me at least 3 different ways of saying exactly the same thing. By the way, there's lots. And then I'll give you my 3. Over to you. On the screen, you should now see 3 responses that I've come up with. The first one, How you doing? How you doing? Now, how are you has been replaced with ya. And when you say it, sometimes, especially if you are from a native English speaking country and you may speak a little bit fast, you might say, how you doing? It means exactly the same thing, but this is informal. The next one, you good? You good? Now, you may have heard this or possibly seen it in either a text message, in a WhatsApp, in written communication. You good as a question means, how are you? It's informal. Now, the next one is even more informal. What's up? What's up? Now, you may have heard this, more common in possible text messaging, in WhatsApps. What's up? It means, how are you doing? So as you can see, we've gone from a formal everyday question to 3 examples of how it can be said informally. Now that probably seems really simple, but this is the difference of how you can refine and develop your English from everyday use to formal usage. Let's now do the opposite. This time, I'm going to give you 5 informal words, not phrases, words. I want you to think about what the formal word is. Now, just to say, if you are in a part of the world where English isn't necessarily the spoken language, and English may be your second, your third, your fourth language, some of these are quite difficult. But have a try. Pause the video. Think, if you're with someone, have a conversation. Take the informal word and make it formal. And just to challenge yourself, if you can take the informal word and put it into a short sentence, that'd be great. Your 5 words are kip, lurgy, footy, daft, and brolly. Pause the video, think about the formal, but then take the informal and also put it into a sentence for everyday use. Over to you. Here's the answers. Just check for yourself how many of these you got correct. As always with these things, if you don't know, have a guess. By trying, by taking a risk, you're more likely to learn. In the top left-hand corner, as you can see on your screen, kip means to sleep. I need a kip. I need a kip. If you hear that, what the person is actually saying is they need to go to sleep. They need to go to bed. It's a word that we use in England, quite common actually, but it's informal. The formal word is sleep. The next one, number 2, lurgy. Lurgy means ill. So lurgy is the informal, ill is the formal. He has the lurgy. He has the lurgy. What that actually means is he is ill. He is unwell. Now, that's a difficult one. I think it's the most difficult of the 5. You may have never heard that word, but now you know that if you hear the word lurgy, you mean ill or unwell. The third one, I think, is the easiest here. Footy is football. Fancy a game of footy? Fancy a game of footy? Which just means you want to play football. Footy, informal, football, formal. It's probably worth just stating at this point that in England, the United Kingdom, the sport where a group of people kick a football to score in a net is called football. But in America and in other countries, it's called soccer. So the same sport has a different word. We'll come on to this in another session about words that have the same meaning but are said differently in different parts of the world. The fourth one in the bottom left-hand corner, daft, means silly. Daft is the informal, silly is the formal. Don't be daft. Don't be daft. What that actually means is, don't be silly. Do not be silly. Now, you may have heard of that word. It's more common than lurgy, for example. And the last one on the screen, volley, means umbrella. Volley is the informal, umbrella is the formal. Grab the volley, it's raining. Grab the volley, it's raining. What that means is, get the umbrella because it's raining. Volley is umbrella. Again, used fairly frequently, but if you're not from an English-speaking country, you've probably never heard of that word. Now, as I said before, there are thousands, if not millions, of these words that we can do. So I've done 5 with you. I'll do more over time just to get you thinking about words that we use informally and what their formal meaning is, and the other way around. If there's a formal word, how can it be said informally? Okay, just one more quick exercise. I'm going to give you 2 phrases that are informal. So not now words, but 2 phrases. And I want you to think about what it means. Now, just to help you out a little bit. The meaning is not literal based upon the words that you read and understand. There's a hidden meaning. So I want you to pause the video, have a think. If you're with someone, have a conversation. What does each of these 2 phrases mean? Number 1, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. And number 2, don't bite my arm off. Don't bite my arm off. Over to you. Okay, let's go through the answers. The first one, that's rubbish, means that something is not good or of a poor quality. That's rubbish means it is not good or of a poor quality. So if you were to hear that phrase, it doesn't actually mean rubbish, trash that you put in a bin. That's rubbish. The hidden meaning is it's not good. Now, you possibly may have heard that even if you do not live in an English-speaking country. It's a phrase that's really common. The next one is more difficult. Don't bite my arm off means when someone takes something in a hurry. So if I was to give you something and you took it really quickly out of my hand, I might say, don't bite my arm off. Does it actually mean bite my arm off? It means you've taken that in a real hurry. Now, that's more difficult. What I should say at this point in time is that an idiom is a saying that doesn't exactly mean what is written. There is a hidden meaning. And there are so many of these in the English language that I can spend days and days with you. Now, what I will be doing in our next session is just looking at idioms, and then we'll come back to these in subsequent sessions. The reason being is they're so common, and if you were to visit the United Kingdom or England to either work, to study, or even just a holiday, these phrases you may hear, but you just may not know what they mean. So what I will do is go through some examples and go through their meaning and their explanation. So the last one that we just did, don't bite my arm off, is an idiom. It has a hidden meaning. Can I just say thank you for joining us? As I said, these are short sessions. They should be fun, interactive, makes you think, and hopefully you've now learnt something that you did not know at the beginning of this session. I look forward to you joining our next session. Please contact me, any feedback, anything you want to learn, let me know, and we can plan that in the subsequent sessions. See you soon.